Do it.
Hello, hello. Welcome to this exclusive roaming. We'll see how it goes live stream at IBC 2024. We'll try to stay away from the audio that may be copyright as we walk into a hall here on the show floor. We'll do our best to keep an eye on the stream comments too, but we're doing a lot of different bits and pieces here at the same time. So as you imagine, things will get a bit crazy. And my eyes are all over the place here because let's go to the very end of this hall, Jonas, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're up to, and then we will, we'll see how it goes, right? So I'm John, as you may or may not know. With me, live here is Jonas as well. I'm trying to get the Pocket 3 to not see my face here and look around.
There we go.
So we are at IBC 2024. We've been walking around the halls for a couple of days now and seeing all sorts of things. And then we thought we'd just go live while we're out here and see if we can discover anything you might want to see. We'll do our best. I mean, it takes so long to walk from hall to hall around here, right? So I don't know if we can promise a detailed look at all the booths or anything, but we can have a look at a few bits and pieces if you want to see stuff.
If people hear us yet.
I hope so. Let us know if you cannot hear us. Looks like everything's going through on our end. If you turn up the phone and the audio on your phone, can you hear us? I hope so.
It's the Bluetooth.
Okay. Well, never mind. Well, you let us know if you can't hear us. But I'm assuming you can see us because we're watching it on the stream here. Yeah, I hear myself coming back again. So
there we go.
That's always good. So let's...
Aaron writes he hates that the Pocket 3 mirrors the video in the output and not just in the preview.
Yes, I'm not happy about
100%.
that. We were going to... So we'll dig in a minute to what settings what setup we're using here to actually roam around, the whole halls. But what I wanted to do is mirror it in the in vMix since we're using that. But then I want to flip the camera around in a minute, so then we'd have to unmirror it, right?
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem worth it.
That's fine.
Let's walk more away from the copyright audio that is playing again. If we get shut down on the stream,
it's just your channel, not mine. So.
Oh yeah, it's my problem, not yours. So I think.
Do you think they would connect it? I don't know how much of the sound you actually hear on our mics.
I'm not sure either, actually. Maybe you don't hear any of that. And we're also, there's a single cable going between the two of us here, so we're trying very desperately not to, get someone in between us.
I mean,
why don't we dig into what gear we're using right now as a intro? So I'm going to spin the camera around now. Apologies for the dizziness if it affected you there. So you can see here Jonas with his backpack, and he's carrying most of the gear. I'm carrying the Pocket 3, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and then there's a one cable. You can just see it dangling between the two of us here. Both audio sources are going into this Pocket 3, and then that one USB cable is going into the Director Mini here, and it's just picking it up as a webcam source, and audio and video. And then on the iPad, if it's still working, I hope so, you can see vMix running in the cloud here. So Jonas is just connected into that, and he can make a few changes. We kept things pretty simple. So it's just a vMix setup with the slate that you saw at the start there, some music, and then this camera feed, which is running via, SRT from the Magewell?
Yep.
Yeah,
SRT from the Magewell with a bonded, either two bonded SIMs with peplink that you see.
Oh, yeah. So back to the backpack here. So there's a couple of cables for power, of course, and then there's a peplink. I think if I get a shot right here, you can see all the antennas suspiciously poking out of this bag here. So that is what's getting us live from IBC.
And then we're using these clip-on mics.
The little clip-on mic there. And then I have my microphone. I'm holding it up there so I can be heard, hopefully. I think since we're right next to one of the, let's say, exciting, interesting things that happened here at IBC, we can go straight over to the Bitfocus / Elgato booth and see what is going on over there, because as you may or may not have seen, they are, I'm just going to slip in here in front of you, Jonas, they are showing off this Stream Deck Studio, the 1RU panel, 32 buttons. I'm bad at maths. Yes, 32 buttons, a couple of rotary dials on either side as well. and then showing it off in partnership with BitFocus buttons as well. And I made a video about this yesterday. Jonas made a video about it as well. So you may have
not uploaded
yet, not totally done yet, but yeah, that's what we sort of ran towards to see a little bit of the details on whenever we got here the other day. So if I can, it's a pretty busy little area, booth here, so if I can swish in and let's have a look at this one that's switched off over here. You can see it, there's nothing you can really press right now, since it's not actually, switched on, but at least I can play around. The buttons are basically the same, right, as the Stream Deck buttons.
But like the Stream Deck version 2. Like I know that the version 1 had a lot of issues, but like since version 2 and then XL, I never had any big issues.
No, same. So what you might notice or might not notice from this right here is that the buttons are actually a slightly wider aspect ratio from the traditional Stream Deck buttons. Yeah. So if you are running this with Companion, which it does support, you'll notice there's like sort of a little... yes, Companion is actually running over on this computer and this studio right next to us here. They're getting a demo here, so I don't want to get in the way too much, but the Companion's running there, and there's like pillar boxes on it, since the aspect ratio is slightly different on those buttons.
I haven't noticed it.
Yeah.
I guess they can probably work on that.
I think so. But for actual like the H2R buttons, I was going to say there, for the actual like BitFocus buttons setup, they've built it with the Stream Deck Studio in mind. Yeah. So it fills that space left to right pretty nicely, and it looks quite nice. In fact, I can just swoosh over here and show you what that looks like with all the buttons. And I can press some. I don't have enough hands to do all this work here, but yeah, let's look at that and what it looks like. And it's fun to. I'm going to switch the camera back around again here. It's been fun to play with, right? And and explore a little bit.
I think so. I think we both every 2 days we started here and talking a lot to the Elgato and BitFocus people.
Exactly.
And turns out everything is not as bad as we thought.
No.
They're just passionate developers, and like us, sometimes forget to communicate.
Exactly. Small team that are building this cool new piece of software, which if you talk to them about it, you'll say like, it's not Companion version 2 or version 4, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
It's like a different tool for a different audience.
And like I really see it as soon as you have more than 2 people.
Yeah.
And you want to be able, like, a lot of people always say, but I trust my people, I don't need to restrict access.
Exactly.
But I trust people, but it's my output, like, I don't want to give them opportunity to fail up and set them up for success.
Exactly.
I feel like with the restrictions I can put in place with buttons, I can do that.
Yes. So you're a solo person, like we've been doing for years now. You're running Companion, probably.
Yeah.
Tomorrow for the next whatever.
I think you'll run Companion for a long time.
Exactly.
There might be some compelling features for buttons.
Yeah.
But
and beyond that, you're probably
honestly not right.
Fine. No. But if you're building a huge big setup in a facility and you've got a huge team and you want to be the one in charge of the buttons, literally, and you're deciding what buttons will be in front of certain people.
But also what's great is they're working on a web interface. So, for example, you could give your freelancers access to their own canvas, so they could control themselves, like where buttons are. So you can say, hey, you have these buttons and these sources that you can route, and then that would just work. And it's a little restricted. So, like, for example, an example they show is you can limit it so that it only does the monitors in the routing, but not your TX path, which for me is a great example of exactly what I was talking about, of like wanting to make sure I don't set up my people in a way where they can fail.
Exactly. I've got too many hands here. I'm reading comments. Okay, so we have a question here. Let me fix my mic. We have a question here, Andrew, in the comments asking what power options are there for the Stream Deck Studio. So on the back of the device they have a PoE connection. So in this case that would work with buttons and with Companion.
Yeah.
So you can use that PoE one connection to power the device and also to run the data back and forth, right? And then they have a USB on the back as well, which you can power it via.
You can?
No?
I don't know.
Well, so the idea, I should ask that actually, because the idea is that you can use this device with the Elgato Stream Deck official app as well. Like
Oh, that's nice.
on the FAQ they say you can use that. So does it power with that? It must. Because otherwise you wouldn't want to set up this PoE cable just to power the device.
And I guess USB-C can power a lot of things nowadays.
Exactly.
So.
And then there's a couple of other USB connections, so you can like link up another connection of a typical Stream Deck that you might already have. Yeah. So that's pretty neat. My arms are getting tired already. I can't believe how fast.
You wanna?
No, it's fine. I just need to readjust myself. There we go. That's better.
There we go.
Cool.
Want to walk somewhere else?
Let's walk somewhere else. Let's keep dandering. Try not to fall over the cable here. So this is hole number 8. So if you are watching live for some reason and you're at IBC, and instead of looking around the booth yourself, or halls yourself, you're watching our live stream. That's fine.
Yeah, totally.
I'll allow it. But if you can, you'll see us roaming around if you want to come by and. Don't come by and interrupt our live stream, but you can still come by and say hello if you want. We don't have a problem with that.
You can wave.
What else?
What is hall 8 all about? I don't know. Hall 8 is the hall where everything gets lost.
Should we walk to hall 7 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that. We can have a look around and tinker some more.
I don't know how often we went into hall 8, but never went to like the booths. Like today, we still had to go to some booths where we never went.
Yeah. Every time you see something different, it's
over there.
If you've never been to IBC before, or the building we're streaming from, it's what you would consider a maze, and every time you walk around it, you walk somewhere slightly different. I find. So, is it still working? Any comments to say that we lost audio or video? Because I wouldn't be surprised at some point if one of the many batteries in the system fall apart. There wasn't really much to show over there anyway, so I don't think we missed much by not going into the hall 7. But I mean, I don't even know where we were, but
like apparently as soon as we left hall 8, there it broke up.
Yes.
So who knows? Let's hope it doesn't break up while we walk outside.
Surely going outside is
The interesting thing is if we walk outside now, we ain't coming back. Because they want to search our bags when we get back in.
Isn't that okay?
No, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But
So that's the security measure. I see what you mean. On the way on the door, they want to search your bags.
Right.
But we can't exactly have them search our bags while we're live, because it would not make for good content. Although content so far is us walking around and then digital art, so anything is better than that.
Yeah. Do we want to walk to the front or just to the back?
Let's just find somewhere over here. So, where were we? So we were going through hall 8.
Yes.
And then we were on our way to hall 7. Like I said, Blackmagic, VMix is around there, Bird Dog, ones that we spent plenty of time in and chatting with the teams there. But many of the companies don't really have much to show at this booth or this trade show. It's more about, giving people hands-on experience with the stuff they've already announced at previous times. Should we go over here?
Sure.
So instead of running towards new gear that we've never seen before, in my case it was like going and playing with things that I have seen online and probably know all the details of.
Yeah.
Which actually makes for a better experience in some ways, because then you're just already sort of educated on the topic.
Yeah.
And then you're just trying it out for real, rather than like last year, maybe some new things come out, and then that was a good shot. New things come out, and then you try to play with the gear while simultaneously trying to understand all the features and the details that it has, So it's been quite fun. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Here we are.
I'm just going to pull out the... This is quite nice. I can actually set this down here.
There we go.
And get a good shot of us both.
Make sure we're still... Yep, we're still live.
Cool. People can hear and see us again, which is good. But I think it went okay in Hall 8, so at least we had some nice live streaming from the start. What other interesting things have you spent your time walking around looking at, Jonas?
Let's think. What else was there? It's really like this IBC has been a lot of walking. Cross Video has a new switcher. And often there's been an old version of the so-called Solo series.
Yeah.
But now there's a Carbonite Ultra Solo.
Great name. Well, not terrible
Ultra
name, actually.
Extreme Solo
Yeah.
ISO or something.
Not the worst name.
And it's actually really cool because it's has a USB-C out and a lot more of the features that you would know from an ATEM. But also, like, you don't need additional licensing for 10K. You get it all in the package.
Yeah.
Which is really neat.
Yeah.
I really do like that.
That's true.
And then, like, it has so many cool features that, like, you would much rather expect from, like, vMix. Like, there's proc amps, there is input and output color corrector, there's frame syncing, all that up and down conversion. So, like, it's a lot more user-friendly, I think. And, I mean, at 10K, it's still really expensive.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you look at it, like, on the page, the price for what you get, you might say that's a big number.
Yeah.
I can get that for cheaper with Blackmagic.
It's still a big number.
Sure, but then you start to piece out like how many pieces of equipment you would need to do the same thing with some other brand, and it's not like you're exactly going to match the price, but you're going to get up there. You know, you're gonna spend some money on a lot of bits and pieces to get yourself to the same level of not quality. I was going to say, but like functionality and like adaptability to whatever someone throws at you.
I think it's similar to like I bought an iPad, and I love it. But like one of the big features of the iPad is that it forces you to spend $500 on a tablet, which like when you spend $500 on an Android tablet, it's probably also pretty good.
Yeah, we might disagree on that, but sure.
Like most people buying an Android tablet will buy like $100-$200
exactly
tablet.
Yeah,
like
that's
with
true.
With the Ross Carbonite Ultra Solo, it feels like they force you to spend the 10K.
Yeah.
But like then you get all these things that you might not want to pay for initially.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, imagine the production where you like end up saving everything because you can just color correct your output.
Exactly.
That's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
And like, what's also interesting is Blackmagic has frame syncs on every input. So there's at least a frame of latency there. That's not like, that's a new way of thinking about it with the Carbonite Ultra Solo, because it doesn't do that. Like, you can enable a frame sync, but if you sync everything, you get lower latency video as well. And what's also really cool is it has a reference output.
Yeah.
So you can reference other stuff off it. You can like reference it out, put it into a analog DA, and then distribute it that way, and you have a really nice, powerful setup.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make a video about that?
I don't know. I'll probably try to make one, but like their booth is packed.
Yeah, Ross booth has been
always packed.
We couldn't even barely get close to any. When we finally got close to the Ultra Solo to like play with it, one of their reps took it and brought it to someone else to show.
Yeah.
So they literally had one here
to
show.
They have two here because there's
there's
also
one
a
under the
rack
desk.
mount version. It's a little cheaper, but the funniest thing is you probably have seen like the big TD touch drive panels, and they wanted to demo the rack-mounted Ultra Solo, so they used one of those huge panels that has like more buttons than the Ultra Solo has inputs to demo it, and that was kind of funny to see.
It was good to see. What else did I see? I quite liked looking at the vMix preview of the features of the next release. They had the Telestrator built in, which I think is pretty early days. You know, they said themselves that this is like, let's just put this in here, let people play with it, and then suggest features. But I really like the ability to add a second multi-view now. Before you could only have one actual multi-view output from vMix. Really so a second one now, and then I didn't realize this before, but in vMix's multi-view, you always had to show program and preview. And now they've added now they've added, because of the second multi-view, you can do like a 16 up. 2 or 16, yeah.
Yeah. 16 up.
I always wonder. It never seems like 16 when you see it, but anyway, you can do 16 up, but you don't want two of your windows to be taken from preview program, because you probably have them somewhere else. So they have like a hide preview program for multi-view. So that's nice. 5 destinations of streaming.
Yeah, I also talked to him about like, because there's still only 4 NDI outputs, right? So like I was like, hey, would you consider like doing another output? And I think like coming from the cloud perspective, he was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes more sense than like fixing it to an output. But like, of course, like it's an interesting job because like he has to also think about like the worst user who's just gonna enable everything and like kill the network
And then complain.
say NDI
Yeah.
and vMix killed my network.
Exactly.
Which like always happens.
It does, and it's the same for the 5 streaming destinations. Like I know that it comes with a caveat because it's like your computer has to do the work.
It's like the 4 external outputs. It's also in beta, and like they might never pull it out of beta.
Exactly.
Because like
your computer has to do the work.
Yeah.
So be
you
careful.
Need to test it and all.
I think that's always the challenge with software based. It's like the computer does the work, and all of a sudden the computer's not up to the work.
Yeah.
And you can get yourself in a situation where things don't work whenever you want them to. What else did I see on the old IBC? I think we were just talking about this earlier, and the difference between last year and this year is that last year I felt like I was spending like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes talking to people, going through loads of booths, long list of things I want to see. This year, you and me were like 2 hours standing talking to the same person yesterday at a booth. Yeah. The same for me today. I spent like an hour and a half talking to the same person. So, and they're probably the same people I talked to last year. So you get like the relationships, chat with people all day about stuff, have loads of nice conversations instead of like, I gotta go try this device and play with it and see what it does.
And it's really interesting because like the first day I think for both of us felt like not a successful day because we spent up like talking a lot.
Exactly.
And not shooting everything, but like yesterday we were able to like, I think it's always important, like, I mean, sure, we could have shot like a video, oh, here's the device, and I'll like read the FAQ.
Exactly.
But like, I think both of us now today were able to like do a much better picture of like, this is what it is and putting it into context.
Yeah.
Especially with buttons, which is literally so new that the developers sometimes don't even know the context around it.
Yeah, that's. I think they've been like building and building and building, and now they have to all of a sudden talk about like a marketing angle on it. Yeah, so it's hard.
But it's also like funny. Every day we get there, it's a little more refined their message.
Exactly. Yeah. You can imagine how it is. Day one, you're like, I've got a lot to say, and not much time to say it. And then by day 3, day 4, you've got like a really tight 60-second pitch. Yeah. Question here from Andrew: any new workflow ideas from any discussions that we've had this year?
I mean, this workflow, I mean, it's not released here, but like we both were using the Osmo Pocket 3.
Yes.
For that also is the camera that you're seeing us on right now, and I'm a fan. Like,
yeah, we both really enjoyed shooting. You've been doing vlog stuff, and I've been doing some videos by myself, and it's the quality for the size of, and it's one of the good things about it is like you can film something without people really realizing that you're filming all that much. Like if you bring a big camera and you set it up on a tripod and you start like, hey, John here from IBC 2024, you have this sudden like what feels like presence around you, people going like, what are they doing over there? But with this, it just looks like you're just hanging out, making a little vlog, and people are like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So it takes a lot of that sort of pressure off the fact that we wanted to make videos and stuff. And then I guess everyone's been talking about 2110 everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not something I've really dug into at all. For my, like, I'm not going to use that at home. And I'm not going to invest into it for equipment. I just don't need it right now. So there's been a ton of talk about that. And I've been listening, but not needing it.
And I think it makes like a lot of sense here.
Yeah.
I would be surprised to see like a lot of 2110 at ISE. Like maybe, because that's more like smaller integration. But like here, I mean, yes, it's broadcaster and like level 1, level 2 tier broadcasters. The other ones who like save millions over millions by, like, a lot of people don't understand why 70-2110 is a thing. But it really comes down to, I heard this story, and it might be true or not, but it drives home the point where NEP in the US tried to upgrade the routers for 4K, and it would have been like millions and millions and millions. And yes, they now spend a little less millions on migrating to 70-2110 and using switches, and that makes a lot more sense. And I forgot to put my phone on silent.
Exactly.
That's unacceptable.
But I wouldn't be surprised. Like it, last year they talked about it a bit. This year they talked about it a ton. So next year I'm sure they'll be just constantly.
And like I think we'll see a lot of new things from like, for example, Blackmagic and NAB.
Yeah.
They don't give up the. They like spend NAB to IBC to ship it, and then IBC is like, hey, we're actually shipping it,
Exactly.
and then they'll work on the next
thing to launch or to announce next year.
It's a little sad to not see a PT set. Like Blackmagic announced that the software update, then that it can control Visca
Exactly.
PT sets, and we were
There was none there to show.
having a friendly wager on what PT set brand it's gonna be, and there was nothing.
Zero. So
how was your? I know you went over to Bird Dog.
Yeah, they talked a little bit about the X4 that was just announced.
X4 Ultra.
X4 Ultra, yeah, sorry. That they just, I guess, it's one of the things that's really hard to tell is if it's announced for this show or a month ago or what's going on. But anyway, they had it here.
Announced the X4, and now announced the X4 Ultra. They look so similar that like.
Yeah, I've kind of lost in there a little bit, but I mean, they look interesting. Again, it's not like I'm not in the market for cameras, but if I was, PTZs would be a camera that I would buy for the kind of work that I tend to do. But would I go with Bird Dog? That I'm not so sure.
I think they're still trying to like gain back their reputation.
Yeah.
And I think like what we're seeing now is them being able to control hardware and software.
Yeah, and I think having seen what they're up to and a little preview of some things that they are thinking about working on in the next little while, it feels like they're putting all that behind them, any problems in the past, and hopefully like refreshing themselves. So, worth looking again, I think maybe, but
yeah,
I know that a lot of people who've been burned in the past, it'll be hard to get that back again, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Who would you say had the nicest looking stand?
What was that one we looked at today? It was a simple. No, actually, the BitFocus Legato one looked quite nice.
That one looked quite nice.
I think
the Killer View looked really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Neat. They have a new product that is basically like a similar idea than the Open Gear frame, that you have like slots where you slot everything in. That was interesting to see. I also. The Ross one is just too crowded.
Yeah.
Like, I think it looks great. Like they have.
It does. They've got some good demos there. Yeah.
One of the coolest things that like not enough people appreciate is like the spider cam just flying above people all the time. And then like one of the cooler things is they have the spider cam, for those that don't know, is like a winched camera that has 4 winches and then can rotate or like turn around in 3D space.
Exactly.
But what's neat is, and I don't know if you noticed that, they only have 1 winch on the one side and 3 on the other ones, and then use like some clever pulleys to still do it. And I'm always amazed by that.
Exactly. It looks really cool to watch it up there. Other than that, other cool booths that I've seen.
The Techno Crane booth was impressive. They had like this huge crane.
But like if you were to guess what they had there, would you have said something different?
No. I didn't expect the crane to be that
That's
huge.
true. Whenever you see it in person, it's like...
It was like, what, 72 meters maximum extension or something?
Oh, but one thing I didn't do last year or the year before...
Who knows?
Was go outside and look at the OB trucks.
Yes.
Which is like, this is money flowing down the streets. But it's really cool to just pop in there and see what kind of gear they were using. And what kind of people were in there just chit-chatting, I got the impression that they're very welcoming to come in and mess around. Some places have buttons covered, so you can't do any damage. Some of them didn't even let you record anything inside.
Yeah, sadly.
But other ones, there was one that was like, had all this wood accent. It was made in Denmark. Looked like you walked into a spa. It was just missing some spa music.
That one where we also weren't able to record, like you walk in and you're like in a hallway and
exactly.
You're like,
there was
what
like
is going on?
It was like, and I looked through one of the pieces of glass and I was like, that must be a reflection of someone walking behind me. But it was like so deep that there was like 2 rooms in front of me of people doing things. It was wild. So that's cool to see. Because sure, I've worked in tiny OB trucks and you've worked in some, but when do you get to just walk around and look at huge ones?
And there was the Photo Cine.
Yeah, something like that. a lot.
It's like a cinematic
truck. Yeah.
But one thing that was really cool, in front of the CCUs, they had these really nicely metal buttons that you could press, which then did a routing change. So like suddenly you saw the camera that you were controlling with the CCU.
But all the CCUs had the same ability built into them. They just added this other layer, row of buttons, because he showed me that, and it was just set up to like a little microcontroller, and it was cutting.
It was like the
an aux
TSL,
or something?
GPIO.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was neat is like a lot of them had like full-on router panels in front of them,
That's
which
cool.
like didn't look as nice.
Yeah.
But that one just looked really, really nice.
And then they had like a classic like van sitting there, like something that was approachable. That you could think like, oh, this would be quite cool someday.
And that one was empty.
And there was no equipment in there for some weird reason.
Yeah.
That would have been the
They were
perfect
ready
demo.
to be outfitted.
Yeah.
But
And then we looked at the broadcast bike from Bart.
broadcast bike.
Yeah. So we shot a video with Bart. Jonas was the I want to say voluntary camera operator for that. So I made a video with Bart's bike that he brings around with all his equipment in it, and actually cycles to events around the Netherlands and captures events. So we'll make a video and edit the video and put that up pretty soon on the channel. Yeah. It was fun. And it was a bit like, you know, stealth, because he just cycled it up outside the venue here, and we shot the video, and then he cycled off. So it looked like it was in the right place, up next to the OB trucks. So it was in the right context.
Yeah.
But, you know, can you imagine how much money it would cost for him to cycle up and actually park it there for 4 days? It wouldn't be worth the expense. So that was cool. I really enjoyed that. It was a fun experience, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else? So now I'm done for the day. I'm going to go home tomorrow, but I'm going to pack up and call it a day. Do you have anything else that you're going to do? You're here tomorrow, right? You're going to walk around.
I'm here tomorrow. I have a bunch of meetings. Last year I had like all my meetings front loaded on Friday. This year I backloaded them and stayed a lot day long on Monday.
Yeah.
Cool. I still have a couple booths I didn't check out yet.
So yeah, I think there's still like 20 minutes before the free beers are handed out on booths. So I think we should wrap things up and go get those. Yeah. Yes. That sound good?
That sounds
good. Cool.
It's like, do you want to do another quick I just pulled out literally all of the things except like the power brick and a really long Ethernet cable, and like as I was sitting here in my hand, I was kind of amazed a little that like we have the Director Mini here.
Yeah. So it's running SRT to the cloud. I was going to look at the cloud over there as if that's the cloud, but the iPad is
see,
it's controlling it.
Can we get a view into the cloud?
Come on, cloud. Well, I can show the other stuff. So that is being connected via network to this little PEP link, and that's getting powered by the battery on top over DTAP, which is sending the signal over to SIM cards, right? To eSIMs.
Yeah, we have 2 eSIMs. That's one of the really cool things. Like in the past, you had to buy SIMs and like plug them in and all that.
Yeah.
I bought 2 Orange travel SIMs, and I could just send them over as an eSIM, which that was really cool. So yeah.
And yes, this is the 3D printed. We got for the DJI mics, which is really nice.
I just accidentally cut to the slate.
Whoops. Anyway, I'll go back to it again. Yeah, I printed these at home, borrowed the design. And it works really well. I've been really happy with them. It adds just a little bit more ease of holding of the microphone, so it's quite cool.
Next year we're gonna have multiple Insta, no, not Insta. What's it called?
Instagram?
DJI mobile things.
Yeah, exactly. Here. We'll get it. I want to downsize every year, not upsize.
Yeah, I mean, I've still brought like 10 kilos.
Oh yeah. There's loads more stuff in the bag.
My bag is still full.
Don't you worry.
So like.
Yeah. There's a micro camera in there and
bunch of things
loads of audio, mix pre.
Yeah.
But this has worked pretty well, except for the fact that we went into the wrong hall. Otherwise.
Which is interesting because this one also is like full of metal.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe we'll need to get another SIM because this year we were both on KPN.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Maybe it's worth expanding. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching live. Thanks for the questions that popped in there. If you're watching afterwards, then I don't know if we've edited out all the mistakes or we just leave them in there. We'll see. We'll see how bad it was. But yeah, see you in the next IBC, maybe.
Probably.
Or before then.
Are you going to ISE maybe?
We'll see. Maybe I'll go to ISE.
Barcelona is a lot nicer than ISE
Yeah.
sometimes.
It'd be nice to go somewhere different.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.